Hi folks, Dave here, and I want to talk to you today about repeater programming on your Baofeng or your Osan or your Kenwood or your Lanco or your ICOM or your Yaesu or whatever it happens to be. But what I want to do, and I'm sure you're probably like me, that you like all of your radios programmed pretty close to the same. In other words, all of the memory channels that's on this radio, 1 through whatever, I also want to be the same memory channels on this radio. So regardless of which one I pick it up, if I know I want a repeater on, I don't know, say channel 12, I can punch in 12, I know I'm going to get a specific repeater, and I want to be able to do the same thing on this one. Now you've probably realized, if you have more than one of these radios, that the software they give you will not interchange. You can't program this one with this one's software and this one software and vice versa. So how do you kind of solve this problem? Well, there's some software called CHIRP. It's a freeware software, and I'm going to show you how to download it, install it, and how to take the repeaters from one and transfer it to the other. It's not greatly straightforward. There's a couple of things you have to consider when you're doing that, and I'll talk about that also. Now let's get started. So the first thing we got to have, of course, is your USB to serial adapter for your radios. Now I am not going to go into the installation of the drivers for this device, simply because I've done that on a couple other videos, especially the one on how to correct communication errors. So let me just go straight into the CHIRP software itself and how to use it. So let me get plugged up here. Okay, so let's get on the computer here. And first of all, we have to find the software. So I'm going to open up the web browser here. Probably the easiest way to do that is just type in CHIRP, C-H-I-R-P, programming. Google found it. Software, Google found it. And you can see right here it is home CHIRP, and the actual address is chirp.danplanet.com. So I'm going to click on that, and it takes me to the CHIRP page. Now CHIRP is a free open source software. It is readily available for anything, and if you look right here on the first screen, you will see a list of all of the different radios that this software will support. So interchangeably you can take software from one of these and put it on another one. Alright, so let's download it. I'm going to go over here to the download page, and like I say, this is a free open source software. Those guys put in a lot of time and effort to make this thing right, so if you would donate, go ahead and donate a little bit of cash to them. I'm sure they would appreciate that. Let me go down here to under the Windows area. I'm going to download their current version as of this date is 031. So I'm going to click on that, and it's going to download the installer down here at the bottom. You'll see that installing. Alright, so it's finished installing. I'm just going to copy that out there to the desktop. Now, at this point, I am done with the browser. Alright, so let's install this guy. I'm just going to double click it and say run, and it's going to give me a path there that's acceptable to me. You can change it if you like, and let's run. It says it's completed. Close. Alright, so now what we should see over here on our start menu is a group called CHIRP, and we expand that, and there is CHIRP. Let's run it. And that is the software as you see it. Not a whole lot there. Alright, so what I need to do is make sure the radio is on. I've got the Baofeng plugged in here. And I'm going to go ahead and download from the radio COM3, and you can see it's set up for an Osan, so I'm going to go ahead and change this to Baofeng UV5R. They've got a 5R and a 3R option, so I'll pick the 5R and OK. And it says it's cloning. Now that means it's basically just reading the radio and putting it into the software. Alright. Alright, so there it is. Pretty quick, not much pain. So now I have to transfer it to the other radio. It would be nice if I could just unplug one, plug the other radio in, and say upload. Doesn't work quite that well, but it is functional. So let me show you how to do that. The first thing we need to do is to export this list of repeaters or frequencies, and I'm just going to pick my desktop. I'm going to call it my list, and I'm going to leave it in CSV format, comma separated values, and I'm going to say save, and I get this export to file. I'm going to make sure I clicked all first and then hit OK. So you can, using that screen, if you really want to, you can pick and choose. Maybe you only want to export certain frequencies or certain repeaters and then import just those. So you can play around with it a little bit. Alright, so there on the desktop you can see my list, CSV, and at this point I'm going to close the Baofeng here, window. No, I'm not going to save it. I'm going to open up the CSV file here. Now there's one of the gotchas that you have to keep in mind when transferring from one brand to another brand. The Baofeng has a channel 0. The Osan does not have a channel 0. So you may run into issues where one radio does not come across exactly like the other one. So I know that my Osan will not accept channel 0. That's okay for me, so I'm just going to delete that row. And now you can see I'm starting with channel 1. And I'm going to save it, and I get this stupid message that I hate from Excel. It says, it might not be, yeah, who cares? Yes, save it. And I'm going to close, and I already saved it, so don't save again. All right. The newer versions of Excel irritate me. Anyway, all right, so now we got to take that list that we just created from the Baofeng and put it on the Osan. So I'm going to turn the radio off here, unplug it. I'm going to set him aside. Plug into the Osan. Okay, I've got him turned on there. Now, I wish at this point we could just pull in that data and send it down to the radio, but it won't work that way. So what you have to do is you have to go re-download, and it thinks it's Baofeng, so we got to switch it to the Osan, and there's my UVD1P. Okay. So now what I'm doing is I'm reading the data off of this one, I'm putting it into the software, and it's understanding how to talk to the radio. Alright, now it's done. Now unfortunately, this is not the programming that I want to keep. So what I can now do is I can go to File, Import. I'm going to pick my desktop, and I'm going to change from CHIRP files to that CSV file. There it is right there. Open that up. Make sure I select all. OK. And there now is the frequencies and the repeaters and the names and everything that were on the Baofeng. Now it's ready to be sent down to the Osan. So I click radio, upload to radio. It's still on COM3 Osan, and I click OK, and away it goes. Yeah, it takes a little bit, no big deal. And you should be able to see the little lights here flash on the top. Alright, it says complete down here at the bottom. Right there. Okay, so now my Osan radio has the exact same programming as my Baofeng, minus the channel 0 that the Baofeng has. So just keep that in mind, that channel 1, channel 0 thing may hang you up. Alright, so that's basically how to use this software. There's a lot more you can do with it. Download it and play with it. I think you'll be happy. Now the one thing I'm going to tell you real quick before I get off of here, let's re-examine this spreadsheet. And essentially what you have, as you can see, is an editable list in spreadsheet format. So now if I want to add a frequency or add a repeater to both of these radios, I have a starting point now that I can just go in and add that directly into the spreadsheet using Excel, save it, and then go back through that import process, send them back down to the radio, and keep them up to date. Okay, so I hope that helps you out. If you've got multiple brands of radios and you're needing to program them and you want to program them the same, CHIRP is a pretty useful tool for that, and I hope you get some use out of it. And that's it for this video, and I appreciate you watching. I'm Dave, AF5DN.